Welcome back to Marvel Maniac and MCU Aftershow. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest. Back with you for a revisit today. We're going to revisit The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the series streaming on Disney Plus right now and has been for nearly 3.5 years. Yes, it's been that long since we've seen Sam Wilson suited up as Captain America, and we talked about it on the show. If you're looking for episode by episode recap, it's the second show we ever covered on this podcast, so scroll down to the bottom, and I will tell you what, definitely still finding my style during those days. Still am. I think it's just getting a little bit better all the time, but I stand by those episodes because everything I've done with the utmost passion possible and learning in retrospect what I can do better as I go, and I'm still doing that. So thank you for being here. I know we are a week away from literally Captain America. You'll almost hear me say Falcon. Captain America, Brave New World. 1 week while you're sitting here. While you're listening, it's actually going to be 6 days because midnight releases start at 5 p.m. now the day before. So if you want to see this thing on the Thursday before the 13th, we are on far under a week. I hope you got your tickets. I think this is going to be a fun journey. If you enjoy The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you're most likely going to enjoy this movie. I'm saying that for a reason, very specifically right now, top of my head, because I just watched this show. It's a great rewatch. I'm not going to sum up every single little thing that happened in it, but we're going to talk about some of the big points. And this movie does have a big lead into Brave New World, and I'll tell you, it's through Isaiah Bradley, and we'll talk more about him in a minute. But he is in the trailer for Brave New World, and he is the guy who is with Sam at something the president is holding, and it might be like just to honor Isaiah, I don't know. And he goes into attack mode and tries to attack the president in the trailer for Brave New World. So we also are introduced in this show a good couple, at least a few good characters that we're going to see in Thunderbolts, and this show kind of goes in and sets some of that up too, some of the chemistry we're going to see in that show. So I'm really, really excited to be here talking about this with you today. I enjoyed my rewatch thoroughly. I enjoyed my rewatch more than when I watched the show. Partially because the way I recorded, I was trying to get line by line. So I was writing the script in my book because every line mattered to me. I mean, it was a special show. We were back. We're getting a new Captain America. The twists and the turns in this show were really good too. So I was very passionate at this time that this show was really awesome, and I stand by that. I think the second to last episode was the only one I found a tiny bit off. In a way where it's just, we're filling in here, but we need some of that build up. And what people talk about is Sam never really gets his origin story. Well, to meet a hero fully is just to go on a journey with them. So this isn't his technically origin. It is the origin of his Captain America, but it's technically not his origin. It's a story where we get him as the center of this main character. This was about the Winter Soldier as well, and he does address a lot of big things in this movie. I think it's a bigger transformation from Sam Wilson to Captain America, from Falcon to Captain America. He turns on that shield in the first episode, and it's kind of a big plot twist covered by the other big plot twist that they immediately took that shield out of the museum and put it in John Walker's hands. And John Walker is one of the coolest new characters we've been introduced to. He's already at anti-hero status. Like I've said, this is a follow-up to Avengers Endgame, as well as it is a setup for the new Captain America movie. We get to see a lot of fallout. One of the main reasons, if not the main reason, we have an antagonist in the show in the Flag Smashers and Carly Morgenthau. It's because of the blip and the effects of bringing half of the population. I mean, think of 5 years. 5 years is a long time. Imagine just twice of everybody, just a person for a person. And in the beginning of the show, when Sam goes from accepting the shield, I'll do my best, to us waiting for the next move from that, and it's, I'm going to give up the shield. I don't want the shield. he can't carry it, and it's a lot to do with his race. He's hesitant to carry the shield as a black man, and within the show, he meets another character, one of the most intriguing characters. You know, I gotta say, they introduced a lot of intriguing characters. Okay, Isaiah Bradley, and he was a super soldier of many super soldiers that they tried to create after Steve Rogers, and instead of putting a suit on him and calling him Captain America, they threw him in jail for 30 years and experimented on him all that time. Oh my goodness! So this guy has a real rough exterior, and he is the definitive low. Like, he doesn't believe in a black Captain America. He doesn't think it could ever happen. And I mean, it's fair enough considering what he's been through, but to see that journey through the end where Sam does kind of conquer all that doubt and fear, and he hones in on being Captain America, not because he wants to, because he has to. So did you see Falcon and the Winter Soldier as it was airing, or have you watched it recently for the first time? Are you going to watch it? Spoiler alert if you haven't watched it yet. We're talking about all of it. I just spoiled a lot of stuff for you right there if you were coming in just to listen to my recap of the whole series. I wouldn't depend on my whole recap. I would definitely watch the show. If you can't watch all of the show, I don't know. It's interesting because we're in the era of the follow-up to the Disney Plus shows. These next two movies, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Brave New World and the Thunderbolts, are follow-ups in a sense to this show. We get a follow-up on Bucky. We get a follow-up on John Walker, who's U.S. agent now. And then more follow-ups from side characters, anti-heroes from other franchises like Black Widow. We get the Red Guardian, we get Yelena, and the new guy who is called Sentry in the comics, and apparently he is like a walking war machine. So we'll see how that pans out. Bucky in the Thunderbolts is going to be a big deal, and the fact that he already has history with John Walker. If you don't remember, John Walker is the guy that, after Sam gave up his shield to be put into a museum, which already you're a little upset by. You're like, this isn't what was going to happen. This is what was supposed to happen. Steve wanted Sam to be Captain America. Bucky, throughout the show, being Steve's and our voice on why'd you give up that shield throughout the show. When at the end, towards the end, second to last episode, Bucky does admit to Sam, I don't think Steve and I thought through it all what it would mean for a black man to pick up the shield. And in my opinion, this show is a beautiful setup to Sam accepting Captain America and not just blindly becoming him in the next movie they release. I feel like this show served a really big purpose, and it makes me feel ready and excited for the new Captain America movie. Excited in the fact that we don't have to see like him becoming Captain America. He's going to be Captain America from the beginning of the movie because of the show. He went through everything he could have went through. Imagine he becomes Captain America and his first arc is putting down the shield, but he's still that I would hate that. So I feel like this is an arc that Sam would have went through, and I think he needed to go through it now so he knows definitively in the back of his mind and the forefront that he is Captain America. The shield does feel like someone else, but it's not. Remember, Steve Rogers says it's not. Even if Sam comes in contact with Steve Rogers one way or another again, he's still a definitive Captain America. Like in the new Spider-Man game, Spider-Man 2, the Spider-Men, they both just call each other Spider-Man. So I'm sorry for bringing Steve Rogers up. The whole point of this is to build up Sam Wilson without Steve Rogers. And I'm sorry, but the history is there, and the meaning of why it is Steve Rogers. It all comes down to him, and at the end, when Sam's bringing Isaiah in to show him his monument that he had made, I mean, Isaiah didn't. He faked his death to not like be experimented on anymore. Well, they put him in the museum, and it made him cry, and there was a big heartfelt, embraceful hug from him and Sam, and he is like the strongest, like, toughest guy, Isaiah Bradley, and he pretty much breaks down crying, and it's kind of a beautiful journey to see that. And the fact that Sam just embraces the role of Captain America eventually. I like getting to see his training montage. That was really cool. And throughout the show, we see Sam dealing with people and trying to save them before having to go fight them. And the biggest downside of this episode is one I think I've seen mentioned a couple of times in several videos is not to call them terrorists, the flag smashers, or the people coming into the country. Well, like it cuts to a clip of like 3 episodes ago, like Carly Morgenthau blowing up a building with people in there, and she's like, it don't matter in the grand scheme of things, pretty much. So they are terrorists, but that's okay. Sam was making a speech. If anything, it's more like a real life off the cuff speech where, well, he didn't mean it that way. Similar to how in the media he got thrown around. He was like, I don't think Captain America represents America. I don't think that's how he really meant it. Like, as weird as I sound, I just think he meant it in a way like it means so much more to Sam to be Captain America. I don't know. I stand by, I almost said Sam Wilson. I stand by Anthony Mackie. I think he just got a little mixed up. Flag Smashers were a cool villain. The only thing let's be honest. I'm going to be honest. The thing I don't like is how there's just a 1 injection super soldier serum now. Like, I feel like it needs to be acknowledged that the one Steve got had to have been way more powerful than the one the Flag Smashers gets and John Walker eventually gets. That might not be true for any meaning whatsoever. That guy might have just gotten that serum down. But the way Steve transformed, I mean, he went from the skinniest guy in the world to like a ripped, pretty much freaking model. Like, you don't just do that. Like, that's a transformation. So like, it should be bringing like bigger muscles and like stronger looking people. Like Carly Morgenthau should have gotten like jacked. They should have added like, because that's what the super soldier serum technically does, right? It brings out the best in someone or the worst, whatever their biggest traits, which goes all the way back to the first Captain America movie. However, I don't think, obviously it's a different type of super soldier serum than Steve Rogers got. And debatably, I don't know. I seen Carly Morgenthau killed that guy, John Walker's friend, Battlestar, something like that, with a powerful punch that made me think, man, maybe they do have the full power of super soldiers. I think it's kind of easy for them to just say they are super soldiers and not add any like aesthetics to that fact. And instead of Captain America, like, I don't know, you believe Bucky is when you as the Winter Soldier. You see him do some crazy stuff, and you believe in Steve because of. You see all the injections go in and all of his body. I mean, it's not like that guy who remade the serum was there for that, So he created his own serum, and it's pretty strong. But I don't think it's as strong as Steve Rogers. And in the movie next week, I'm going to say I'm 50-50 on it. If Sam hasn't one more time an option to take that serum because he has to fight Red Hulk or whoever it is, maybe there's a bigger bad in the movie that's not Red Hulk. The Red Hulk teams up with Sam or something like that. I know that's not going to happen. but if it does, I mean, why not? Why not think about it for a second? We see Bucky trying to right his wrongs, something we notice in the series. Bucky, he even says it himself, I've been from one battle to another my whole life. If you think about it, he's Bucky Barnes when he starts. He falls off a bridge and secretly becomes a Winter Soldier who's put under every time he's not on a mission, killing for the government, brainwashed. And then he comes to as the Winter Soldier because of Steve, and he fights. He fights his way to Wakanda, where he finally, like you said, had a breath of fresh air in Wakanda, but then thrust right back into the action, gets snapped away for 5 years. Talk about feeling displaced when he comes back. Like, you got to think about that. Like, I would feel so displaced. I'm already living in the future, and then one second later, I'm 5 years later. Like, that's crazy. He is been through the ringer, Bucky. And in the beginning of the show, he's just trying to make amends, and it's for the Winter Soldier's past. How do you do that? He has so much guilt. And there's this one older character who he's struggling through this, the beginnings of the series. He's like his friend, but it's the guy's dad who he killed. So he has to end up confessing, and Sam tells him to do the work. And by the end of the show, I really like Bucky's story because it comes kind of full circle. He does right his wrongs and lets everybody know that he can about what he did as Winter Soldier and how sorry he is. That's all he can do. I was gonna say I stand for the friendship of Bucky and Sam. I think they got a great friendship. Builds one of the greatest scenes and saddest scenes is when they're in therapy together. It's funny, but then Sam's like, "I'll never have to talk to you again after this," and Bucky has these really sad eyes and tells his therapist that she hurt him by doing that to him and making him talk like that. Bucky doesn't have many friends, and I thought Sam was a little mean to him there. It just happens naturally over the show that they bond and become friends. John Walker, a war hero that I've theorized did not get snapped away and made a big name for himself during the blip. He is introduced as a new Captain America at the very end of the first episode, leaving a pit in Sam's stomach and all of our stomach. Man, it's nice to watch that not week to week. And it's crazy that I haven't seen this in 4 years when it's such a huge installment, but I couldn't have watched it at a better time. Walker starts as Captain America, but ends as U.S. agent. And the journey to get there was a bit of a rough and a wild ride. We honestly are meant to not like him at first. Like, he's one of those guys who's got this attitude, and he doesn't feel like he really even has a right to carry the shield. But throughout the show, I think, especially like the last 2 episodes, we are able to see kind of his softer side, who he really is, and he's capable of good things, amazing things, but he's also not perfect. And the thing he did to lose his badges and his honor and his name, Captain America, the way he killed that guy after his friend Lamar was killed, and it was with the shield. And I don't know what he did. Doesn't even show it. He cuts him in half. I don't know if he does it at the head or at the gut. It's disgusting. And so many people saw that in public. It was gross enough to make a whole global "The World is Watching." That's the name of the episode. So the world was watching John Walker. That was his last real day as Captain America. Losing control like that was insane, and it prompted the giant fight between him and Bucky and Sam in the freight or wherever the hell they are. John Walker beats the shit out of Sam. He's a match for Bucky. It takes them both to take him down. Bucky really gets the final blow in because, oh my goodness. I just can't. That scene is so intense. He gets on top of Sam, and you see he's about to do what he did to that guy to Sam. He's about to kill Sam. It's like, oh no. And what he screams in Sam's face is, "I'm Captain America." Oh my gosh. It's just, no, you are not. And you are stripped to your titles. And then you start to feel bad for him because he was a soldier. He got thrust into this position as Captain America. He did make the choice to take the serum. And it was kind of like he let his friend Lamar choose for him, but he didn't tell Lamar that he had it. But Lamar was like, "I'd take it in a second. Think about how much better we could do. We could really save the world." I shouldn't have taken the serum. So, I mean, a lot of Americans can relate to the refugee situation. I'm kind of tiptoeing around modern politics here. Charlie Morgenthal's ideology and is outlined in her post-blip refugee crisis. So this is all fallout from the blip. Everything in this show is a fallout from the blip. John Walker is a fallout from the blip. And that's just what I have to say. By the way, I can't wait to see his role followed up in Defenders. Is it Defenders? I'm sorry, not Defenders. The Thunderbolts. The Defenders exist now, though, in the MCU for the Netflix series. So go watch the Defenders and all those shows. We will be talking about them not long from now because Daredevil Born Again, less than a month away. What are your thoughts on Falcon and the Winter Soldier? I'm very curious to know. At MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. And you can also find me on social media, MarvelManiacPod. I haven't put up too much content. Sometimes will post clips of the weekly episode, a good moment from the clips. But I like sharing my own stuff on there too. So go find us. Sharon Carter is kind of a backstabber and is playing everybody in this show. She is the power broker. I'm assuming she did not get snapped. And off the globe, she started to form a huge army of, I don't know, people who listen to her. I don't know how she did it. I don't think I got to see the post-credit scene with her this time, but I know there was one. And she gets pretty much pardoned from everything. And then she makes a call saying, something along the lines of like, "I'm in. We have access to everything," pretty much. So Sharon Carter, I'm assuming, will be addressed in this movie to an extent. I have just hope that there's a lot of plot to this movie that is going to surprise us. We know the action points. How we get there is the important part at this point for me, because we know there's going to be a fight between him and Red Hulk, and that's 99% going to be at the end of the movie. And I just hope the beginning and middle part of the movie are a great lead up to that big fight. That's all I'll say. And don't forget the actual arrival of Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, or Val, introduced into the MCU. She is the Nick Fury of this multiverse saga, going around recruiting people, watching people of great interest. What is she doing? What's she been doing? Well, I think we'll find out in Thunderbolts in May. So excited for that movie. I really hope, like in this show, Baron Zemo, they needed him for an episode to get information on the Flag Smashers and the Super Soldiers, and he was a great addition to this show. I like seeing him in the Purple Mask, comic accurate. Don't read the comics, but I very much respect the source material, and I would prefer most of the stories come from that, because I think these stories are always golden when they're based off of the comics. She recruits John Walker after his lowest point in life and gives him meaning again as U.S. agent. At the end of the episode, we get to see he's wearing a black Captain America suit. And yeah, he's kind of our anti-hero Captain America. We'll see how many S.H.I.E.L.D. heroes can be allowed. Maybe Taskmaster will take away her S.H.I.E.L.D. from the Black Widow, but we got Red Guardian with the shield. We got John Walker with the shield. I'm assuming some heads are going to butt, and I like to think that there's 2 cameos in Thunderbolts: Zemo and Red Hulk. Yes, I do believe that Thunderbolt Ross will be in that movie. Maybe as a great cameo, similar to how it should have been in, like, I don't know, Captain America. I'm not complaining about Captain America yet. Just we're gonna be nice to that movie. I'm gonna probably give you a sickly positive review no matter what I see, but I'll definitely base it in fact. If it's a really bad movie, there's no denying it. I have to talk about that fact. But it's got to be pretty bad for me to think that off the bat. I'll just say that. This episode, almost every time I'm done saying something, I'm like, I'll just say that. I'll just say I'll just say it. I'm just saying it. I love the whole full series finale episode of Sam being Captain America. It's a treat. It's almost like a little mini movie. And every story from the show kind of comes together and culminates. We got John Walker, getting U.S. agent title, building his own Captain America shield in a post-credit scene, putting his Medal of Honor on it, and him kind of showing up to the fight with Carly to fight her with. And that shield is not very good. It's very flimsy, very breakable. But the heart that John Walker has and the spirit and his intentions matter. He lost it when he killed that guy, and that's kind of why he can't carry the shield anymore. And a reason why a guy like Bucky, as cool as it would be, can't carry the shield anymore. He's had such a negative impact. They could still make positive impacts, but I mean, he's probably gonna always be haunted by the fact that he did that in such a public way. Sam gets to kick some ass in this episode. I love the part where Captain America actually saves the truck, and the audience acknowledges him. There's a guy who's like, that's Black Falcon. And another guy's like, no, that's Captain America. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. And the speech that Sam gives to the senators and the people of the World Peace Committee or whatever it is, it's a little cheesy, and it's a little bit like the part where he says, don't call them terrorists. I think I always, even like he said in real life, the America thing, I don't think he meant that, in the way you're thinking. I don't know, though. Honestly, I thought it was a decent speech. He's trying to say, we need to give people more of a chance, and this blip thing affected everybody, not just the higher-ups. And yeah, I think it was a great speech because it changed the view of who Captain America was, actually in action on TV, having saved people, and the world kind of gets to see him on TV like that. Even Isaiah Bradley, who seems extremely proud that Sam finally went against the odds and picked up the shield. And I like this story for that reason. It's gonna give this next movie next week, Brave New World, a whole lot of weight to it. And I hope Bucky makes a cameo somehow, even though he's in Thunderbolts. There's no saying he can't show up in this movie, but something tells me he won't. I don't know. But we'll hope. We will hope. I am so excited for Brave New World, personally.
I've been waiting for this movie for 4 years, like everyone else, and I think it's got a lot of expectations and a lot of pressure on it to perform and be really, really good. Hence, people are already predicting it to be bad. I've said this too much. I'm like throwing fuel on the fire even by acknowledging it. But I don't think we'll see Walker in Brave New World. I think we will see Sharon, the power broker. If not, she would be able to have a part in Thunderbolts as well. So I think we're going to get a lot of good stuff happening in the movie, at least some payoff to us Disney Plus viewers. But I would hate for people to not know what's happening ever because of a Disney Plus show. But it's such great character work. It really is. I think this has gone way better than my WandaVision revisit. I talked about something. I got to go back and listen to that and maybe like decide if we'll do like a finale 5-year thing the beginning of next year for WandaVision. Because I don't think I did a good job with this one. I think we talked about most of the important stuff. I mean, Sam and Bucky build a relationship, so I'm assuming that will be like continued in Avengers, hopefully. Multiple teams. I don't know. I don't know where this is going. All I know is this is the perfect lead into a movie, and that movie is coming next week, not 4 years. So it's been nice to watch this as a prequel, knowing I'm going to see a follow-up to it, opposed to just watching it week to week and kind of slow burning it, which honestly is fun too. But I got to say, the binge on this series, it hit different. It hit different. We'll see how much they use from this show. I mean, I know Isaiah Bradley is in Brave New World if you watch the trailer, and is very much involved in whatever's happening in the thick of the plot. I hope everybody loves Brave New World. I'm personally 50 times more excited than I was a week ago, even after watching the show. So if you don't have time to watch the show, I guarantee you there's a Screen Crush video up there, or if not, a new Rockstars, or there's some good recaps of Sam's story, Bucky's story in this show on YouTube. If not, they will be put out very soon. And it's been my pleasure. Thank you for sitting here with me and talking to me about Captain America. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. At the end of the show, they do Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Like, are they going to come back and do that? Who knows? But yeah, thank you so much. And if you'd like to leave a review on the show, it would make a big difference for us. Give us feedback at MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. We accept tips. They're in the description at the bottom. So if you feel like sending us a tip, or you can, never necessary, always appreciated. And yeah, that's our episode for this week. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next week when we're talking about 3 new episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. If you haven't watched that yet, watch the first 5. They're very good. Definitely an understatement too. I got a good feeling about that show. So we'll see you then, and until next time, Avengers, disassemble.